Alright, let's take a look at the motions our shoulders are capable of. So let's get nice and balanced with our head and torso. Right? And for this set of body awareness studies, we're going to just let our arms go. Just let them go. Don't try and do anything with them. Just let them go. So again, nice balanced head and torso. Let your arms dangle. And let's take our shoulders and let's kind of roll them forward. And return. And then let's roll them backward. And return. Just so you can see what this looks like. Now let's do it again, except let's do it slower. And let's really be aware of any feelings of tension that want to creep in the process. So again, let's roll forward. Now if you're like me, tension just wants to set in just about immediately. And you can feel it, of course, across your shoulders. You feel it in your back. I can feel it shooting up my neck. And you can even feel it kind of migrating down to your arms. Return. And notice how those feelings of tension just disappear. So let's try this backward. Right, roll back. Again, lots of tension. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it across the back, shooting up my neck, down into my arms. And return. And just notice how those feelings of tension just tend to disappear. So let's try this. Let's roll forward, kind of medium speed, roll back, forward, back, and just find a nice, easy place between those two places where it just feels comfortable. You know, just your body goes, yeah, that really feels nice. That's the feeling we want to cultivate in our shoulders. Great. So let's take a look at another motion your shoulders are capable of. Again, get nice and balanced in your head and torso. Let your arms dangle. Very important. Just let them go. Let your shoulder go. And let's lift. Now, the point here is we don't want to lift with our arms, right? We just want to lift with our shoulder. This is something we want to be able to control independently of all the other body parts. We want to be able to lift our shoulder completely independently. So let's just lift. Kind of medium speed. And then return. All right? Great. Now let's try the other direction. Let's try and push our shoulder down. So let's push. Now if you're like me, this is a real tough one to do. Right? We'll come back to that in a second. And return. So let's do this slowly. Let's lift very slowly and pay attention to any feelings of tension that creep in. So, lift. Now, if you're like me, that tension just sets in immediately. Let's keep lifting, and it just gets worse and worse the higher I lift. Now, of course, this is nothing but our muscles working against gravity, which wants to pull our arms and shoulders down, right? And return. And notice how those feelings of tension tend to disappear. Great. Now, let's push down. Right? Again, we don't want to use our arms to push. We just want to push from our shoulder. Let's push down. Now, if you're like me, feelings of tension just set in immediately. And you'll notice it's really hard to push your arm down. It's pretty much already in a place, or it should be already in a place, where there's not much room for it to go downward. That's a good sign. That means your shoulder is very relaxed. In fact, you could use this as kind of a check on yourself. One way to see if your shoulder's in a nice relaxed position is see if you can push it any farther down. If you have a really tough time with it, it says, yeah, it probably is in a nice relaxed position. So I want to make a key point here, though, about shoulders, because this motion here is just an absolute killer when it comes to your technique, right? You do this and tension will set in everywhere. Here's the key point. You don't have to lift your shoulder very high to cause a problem. Let's take a look at that. Let your shoulder go. Now just lift it. Try and lift it almost infinitesimally small, this much, and just pay attention to any tension that sets in, right? You may not be able to see me do this, but I'm moving it, and I'm experiencing a huge amount of tension right now, and it's spreading. It's going into my arm, my back, my neck, across the other side of my back. So a big lesson here is even a teeny tiny amount of you moving your shoulder will cause a lot of tension. So let's just find a place, right? Let's lift now, push down, lift, push down, and just find a nice easy place in between those where it feels free and easy. And your body goes, yeah, that feels really nice. Well, here's the secret. You don't have to try to do that. All you have to do is relax. Or even better yet, do nothing, which is what relaxation really is the art of doing nothing, right? So you don't have to try and put your shoulder in a relaxed position. You just let it go. And your body will find its own happy place, right? And that's the big lesson, and that's the paradox. The way your shoulders make their maximum contribution to your freedom of playing at the piano is essentially by getting out of the way, by doing nothing.